Hey everyone, this is Nathas, and today I'm going to be doing a Solforge Fusion Alpha Starter Kit opening. So, in order to help celebrate the release of Set 2 in a couple days, I've been opening some Solforge sealed product every day, and today I'm going to be opening an Alpha Starter Kit. So, this has one deck from each faction, as well as some paper playmats, some tokens, and some minions. So, let me get this open and we can see what we get. So, we get two paper playmats, we get a set of minions, we get some life counter tokens as well as some forge tokens. Then we get one deck from each faction. But I'm really excited for Set 2 to be coming out. It's only a few more days until the meta completely shifts. So I've already been playing a little bit of Set 2. I have one deck myself that I traded for, as well as I've played against a couple people online, and the Set 2 just adds so much depth to the game, so it's just really exciting. So yeah, it really just makes me want to open more packs, and I can't wait until Thursday until I could open some actual Set 2, but until then, we're going to be opening some Set 1. So let's start with our land deck. Ooh. So we're going to start with an Aether Forge Oracle. We got a Bright Steel Sentinel. We've got a Charge Plated Inventor, a Combat Techno Hulk, an Electronet, an Energy Prison, a Forge Plate Yeti, a Nano Swarm, a Shield Bearing War Charger, and a Synapse Hunter. That's pretty cool. Alright, so before we look at our Forgeborn, actually let's look at the Forgeborn first. So we've got a Steel Rosetta with Repurpose at level 2, Enhance at level 3, and Inspire at level 4. So this is an interesting deck because there's a little bit of different synergies that kind of play to each other. But we basically have an Aether Forge Oracle, which helps you upgrade cards. So if you don't really want to be playing your Charge Plated Inventor right away, you could use your Aether Forge Oracle to upgrade it a couple times earlier in the game. We have a few creatures that have armor on them. So we've got the Shield Bearing War Charger, which gives armor. We have the Combat Techno Hulk, which has armor. We have the Bright Steel Sentinel, which gives armor to your robots. Then we have a Forge Plate Yeti, which can be used as removal. There is only one scientist, so the Nano Swarm will likely only get me one gizmo whenever I play it, unless I pair this with a scientist heavy deck. But Electronet could be nice if we get to play it for free. Energy Prison helps us upgrade some cards. We have a Betrayer Synapse Hunter. So Synapse is just a really strong ability in general because it lets you upgrade a card in your hand when you activate it, and if you have the level 1 or level 2, it makes you discard it. But the fact that it also lets you battle let you one of your other opposing creatures battle an opposing creature, it can just be really strong as removal in a lane which doesn't really have removal otherwise. So it's nice to have it on a hunter, which is already a strong utility creature, and then you could use that utility every other turn after you play it. So this is definitely an interesting deck. The Synapse Hunter adds a lot of depth, but it's one that I think will be an interesting thing to pair eventually with another deck. All right. So next we'll go into our Utera deck. So we are starting with a Dentrify, then a Leyline Vermin, Elysian Rain, a Magnivorous Packmaster, a Might of the Herd, a Mystical Decayosaur. Ooh, stuck together a little. We've got a Pack Hunter, a Spring Dryad, a Stout Hide Stegodon, and a Vinelash. Our Forgeborn is a Nova. The Nova has a Nova's Dominion at level 2, a Nova's Might at level 3, and a Nova's Touch at level 4. So this is an interesting deck, and this might actually be a pretty good deck to get into for set two, because there's a couple cards that are very hard to remove in set two, and having something like a Leyline Vermin or a Dendrify could help you remove the Nova Elementalist with the Rumble Spark. So that's going to be an awesome little combo if you have both of those on a deck, because it'll help you remove those cards that are otherwise very, very difficult to remove. So there's a few instances of life gain. So you have your Spring Dryad, and then you have your Stout Hide Stegodon, which could both gain you some life. The Might of the Herd can be interesting because there are two dinosaurs here, and it can give one of your creatures aggressive. So if you end up playing your Stout Hide Stegodon off Forge, and then you can give it aggressive with the Might of the Herd and make it more powerful, that could be just a really strong turn for you. There's not a ton of minion synergy. We do have the Mystical Dechaosaur, so the Lycian Rain could be pretty strong, but Lycian Rain is just a really good card in general because you can play up to 3 bodies and give them +5/+5. So you get 3/7/7s for a level 3 card, which can be really strong. There's a couple really good modifiers here because the Magnevorous will give you, whenever your enemy plays a spell, it gives plus attack, and your Pack Master ideally will get bigger when it gets hit anyway because it's a warrior. There is another warrior in the deck, which is a Pack Hunter, which is also actually a pretty good modifier for a hunter because if we have 2 or 3 other creatures in play, you could deploy it to give it plus power for each creature in play before you have your other creature fight and potentially die. So there's some removal here. There are some pretty big creatures with breakthrough, as well as a couple things that create extra bodies. So there's a lot of cards that just give a little bit of extra value for one card. So this is an interesting one. And if I was playing sealed, I would potentially pair this with the other hunter deck just because it would be a lot of fun to double hunter people. But let's see what we get in the next one. So next we'll go into our Tempest. I'm really hoping in set 2 there's like a little pull tab or something, or maybe if not set 2, maybe set 3, just because I always fumble trying to get these open. There we go. Alright, so we're going to start with a Blizzard Shaman, a Flame Jet, an Inflaming Rex, a Piercing Moorhound, a Stone Skin, a Summoning Stonefist, a Thunder Stomper, an Undeady, a Venerable Glider, and a Windspark Elemental. Now our Forgeborn is a Sunder with a Stim Bolt, an Ice Armor, and a Summon the Swarm. So this is an aggressive one. This is really interesting because we have Blizzard Shaman, which could be removal. It's a card that just against certain strategies that like generate a lot of minions or have a lot of lower toughness creatures, it could just be a complete board wipe. Flame Jet is such an aggressive card because it's a lot of times if you're playing aggressive, you're okay to take the damage in order to push more damage to your opponent. So the Inflaming Rex, which gives your adjacent creatures plus power, plus giving aggressive breakthrough and then other dinosaurs aggressive and breakthrough, having a 3 dinosaur deck can be really strong. Piercing Warhound, if you play this with a deck where you have creatures that you're happy to replace, can be really strong because it could deal with creatures with armor, and it could also deal damage to remove other things. So it's like you get a body, you get some damage if you replace something. But the cool thing is, the Piercing Warhound, because it's dealing damage, the damage itself from replacing it could also kill something with armor. So if your opponent's playing a lot of armor-based cards, your Piercing Warhound could actually be a really strong one because you could potentially kill 2 things with armor very easily. Stone Skin is nice because it lets you battle some creatures and give it extra power. Windspark Elemental is a card that I don't play enough, but I love because it's just when you're off Forge, if you could play it with aggressive, deal damage, and remove a creature, it can be so strong. And then Undeady with a Blizzard Shaman can be so good because you could damage multiple creatures on your side of the board, play a free Undeady with aggressive, and then just kind of go. So there's a lot of ways to damage my own creatures if I need to, but a lot of my creatures have big toughness, especially at higher levels, and just a lot of utility. Like there's a lot of good modifiers on all these creatures, because even the Stone Fist making another body is really strong. So this is a cool one. This is aggressive, and I might pair this with a Dino deck, even though there's only 3 total Dinos here. If I could find a good green deck with a Rex, that might be something that I pair this with. So now finally, we've got one more, which is the Necrom. There go. Alright, so we're starting with a Broodfang. Then we got a Dreadbolt, a Ghoulish Walker, Grimgaunt Predator, Hibernating Slime, Om Nom Nom, Ossuary Mech, Raging Patron, Steadfast Skeleton, and a Zithian Dreadmaw. So this one's actually also, sorry, I almost forgot. The Forgeborn was a Nyx, so it's got Army of the Damned at level 2, a Raising Dead at level 3, and a Dark Summoning at level 4. So this deck has a lot of interesting cards. It's not necessarily one that I would immediately go for if I was playing purple, but when you look at it a little more, there's quite a few beasts here. So we have the Broodfang, the Zithian Dreadmaw, the Raging Patron, and the Steadfast Skeleton. So your Patron is going to be really strong in this deck. Now, the Steadfast Skeleton already has large stats, so it's something that can just be really strong for you later in the game if you upgrade it early, and then you could make it a 21-19, and then every other turn you give it +6, so that could just be really strong in general. Zithian Dreadmaw has stealth as well as Grimgaunt Predator having stealth, so it's something where you could potentially sneak a lot of damage into your opponent. Now, Broodfang is a great card because it could just continuously remove stuff on your opponent's board. The unfortunate thing about this is that the only way to destroy your own creatures is through the Zithian Dreadmaw. But if you play something like an Ossuary Mech, you can use the Zithian Dreadmaw to sack it to upgrade a card in your discard pile. Or if you get to the level 3, you can play a card from your discard pile for free. Om Nom Nom and Dreadbolt are great pieces of removal. Grimgaunt Predator, if you could get it going, is also pretty great removal. And then your Ghoulish Walker, it removes stuff and it's Ghoulish. So Ghoulish is a great ability because it's almost like a Necromancer. You could upgrade cards in your discard, but then at the end of the game, when you play it at level 3, the next level 3 card you play this turn is free. So there's a lot of really strong cards in this deck. If I'm trying to play a beast heavy deck or a stealth heavy deck, this is one that I would be very interested to play. So this was my alpha booster or alpha starter kit opening. Tomorrow I'll be opening one more kit leading up into basically release a set 2. So thank you for tuning in.